Alright, welcome to the second part of Nouns and Genders. So, in the first part, we did see how to guess a gender of a German noun using its ending. So, we mug up certain endings and then we look at those endings, and by that, we guess that such and such noun could belong to certain gender groups. Now, in this video, what we're trying to achieve is guessing a gender of a noun by its meaning. Alright. For example, if a noun tends to hold certain meaning, we'll say it is a particular gender. That is masculine. Now let me set an example for masculine noun. If you're referring to any male person or a male animal, certainly that'll be a masculine noun. For example, okay, I'm referring to a male doctor or a male journalist. I'll write their journalist. If I'm referring to a male animal, the bull, so that's their steer, or a tiger, their tiger, or a dog, like that. If I'm referring to same category but a female person now, female person, let's say female journalist, so that would become the journalistin, and a bull would become cow, so that is the Kuh. Right. For a neutral one, for the third gender, neuter one, that would be the young person or a young animal. Okay, I'll write it down. Young person or animal, if you see. So these kind of noun tends to be neutral. So a male person earlier you saw was their journalist, female became the journalistin, and for neuter, let's say a child or a baby, tends to be neutral. So I'll write das Kind, or a young animal. So I wrote bull, cow, I'll write calf. So das calf, which is Kalb. Das Kalb. Alright. So these example. Another I'll write in the second masculine type is that any nouns that is either names of days, months, and season in German language. I'll repeat: days, months, and seasons. Even these noun tends to be masculine. So very easily you can remember, it's der Montag, right? A month, der August. Any month, in fact, any month, they're all masculine. Or a season, der Sommer. So these nouns will always be masculine. Okay. Now what I'll show you all the masculine nouns first, then I'll move on to the second gender. Second type of masculine nouns are the names of makes of cars. Okay, makes of cars. Example, der BMW, der Toyota. Right, in a conversation, you're referring such names and you're saying that, okay, you're referring it to a car. What is yours? There's a conversation of who bought which car, and suddenly comes, hey, which one is yours? You say, oh, mine is BMW, and you say their BMW. As in a masculine noun, you refer. So that is like refer to a car. Now remember, if you change the gender, it would mean entirely different thing. Now, if you say a feminine BMW, I bought, ich kaufe die BMW. Let's say you say that, I am buying a feminine, like the BMW, I'm buying the BMW. But instead of saying there, like masculine, you used the, that would mean that you are buying a BMW bike, since you changed the gender. If that was masculine, it would mean, you bought a car. Alright, very simple. With gender it changed. So their Honda refers to a car, The Honda refers to a bike because the same company makes both, right? All right. So that is one. Makes of cars. So their BMW, their Toyota. Remember that any car you're referring to, its name will be masculine. The next type in masculine are all the all alcoholic drinks, all alcoholic beverages. Okay, they are masculine. There are certain exceptions. Okay, but remember, alcoholic drinks in general, they tend to be masculine. For example, their wine, their schnapps, exception obviously, beer, which is das beer. Remember that. Now, easy way to remember, okay, water and beer is in abundance in Germany. So that way you can remember it's neutral. All right. So yes, alcoholic beverage, alcoholic drinks you saw tends to be masculine. Next is the general other drinks. Okay, other drinks such as juice, coffee, water, and other things. They tend also to be masculine. So your coffee will be their Kaffee. Right? Tea will be their Tee. Juice will be their Saft. And so on. The next group of nouns that tends to be masculine are your directions, or you could name it as points on compass. Points of the compass. Directions. North, south, east, west, they all tend to be masculine. So they're north, they're west, and east is called Ost. Okay. Sud. Right, so that's north, west, east, south I have written. Just one more masculine category is that most currencies, with all different currencies that you might name in German language, tends to be masculine. For example, their euro. Okay, I'll write most currencies. Most currencies, they tend to be masculine. So their euro, their dollar, which is exceptions. Again, I said I'll discuss it sometime later. But these are the masculine nouns that so far I've written. Okay, once again I'll just go through quickly. So we saw male person. Right over here. If you're referring to a male person, that tends to be masculine, male person or male animal. Right. Then we saw days and months and seasons. They tend to be masculine. Then young person. Sorry, what is this? Repeat example. Okay. Days, months, and makes of cars tends to be masculine. Alcoholic beverages tends to be masculine. Other drinks tends to be masculine. Points on compass, all the direction tends to be masculine. And most currencies. So these are some group of nouns that you don't have to learn and mug up their gender separately. Just remembering its meaning, you should recall its gender as well. Now let's move on and do the feminine ones. Okay. So earlier we did see female person. If it will tend to be a female person or an animal. They'll tend to be feminine, isn't it? The second feminine category are the motorbikes. Names of motorbikes, like I said earlier, they tend to be feminine. So motorbikes and ships, even ships. Okay, most boats or ships, they all tend to have feminine name in German as well. If not, it will be feminine like that. So the BMW, that means you're referring it to a bike. Let's say you have a boat and its name is Titanic, so that'll be Titanic, like that. Okay. The third type that group of noun that tends to be feminine are numbers. Okay, Nummer or Zahlen. So these become feminine. So if you're saying one, that will be the eins, the one. You're saying the million, it's a million, the $1 million contract or something. The million, and so on, billion, trillion, so on. Feminine. Okay, all numbers, any numbers, they're always feminine. In fact, the noun Nummer is again a feminine. You add it with anything. I'll show in the compound nouns as well how a compound noun formed using two different nouns when they brought together, they form a different noun. So what gender that will take, that will learn in compound noun. So stay tuned. Now let's move on to the fourth category. So numbers, we saw numbers, all any numbers, they'll be feminine. Okay, the next type, the names of trees and flowers. So any trees you see or flowers you see, they'll be feminine. Okay, so the Aisha, some sort of tree, I guess. The orchid, okay, orchid, they're all feminine. Then last type is are the names of most native rivers. Most native rivers. Hey, that's a very common thing. In most languages, you'll find rivers to be feminine only. In our language, also, you'll find most rivers are feminine. Okay, most native rivers tends to be feminine. So I'll write the Donau, the Elbe, feminine names. Okay, that's bring us to Neuter. Neuter gender. Neutral. The first one we have discussed, young person and young animal, tends to be neutral. Second type are the names of countries and towns. Okay, so most countries and towns are neutral. Okay, but not, it's usually used without article, since it's proper name. Deutschland, country, Germany. Berlin, usually used without article, so I'll mention that in red over here. Usually used without article. Alright, remember that. Because you don't say the Germany, you don't say the Berlin. Simply Deutschland, Berlin. Alright. The next type, group of noun that tends to be neuter are names of hotels, cafes, and cinemas. Alright. For example, now you're saying Hilton, that'll be, no doubt, that'll be Das Hilton. Any cafe, let's say there's a cafe called Flore, that'll be Das Cafe Flore. Like that. Okay, it's a name, could be any name, of any language, but when you're referring it in German, that'll be neutral. Even cinemas, let's say you go to what, PVR, that's PVR, like that. Okay, the next group of noun that tends to be neuter are metals and chemicals. Any metals, any chemicals, names, metals and chemicals. Even these nouns are neuter. So silver, which is das Silber, or gold, which is same spelling, gold, das Gold, or das Helium. Understood? Das Helium, das Silber, das Helium. Then there's last type that also tends to be neuter in most of the time are the foreign words ending in ing. When I say a foreign word, I'm mostly referring to English only. Okay, so whatever English words they have adopted in German language, that tends to be ending with ing. For example, now training or meeting, which holds the same meaning in German. Okay, not because they don't have a corresponding word for it. It is only adapted because it is much easier, and it's understood. The whole point of communication is to what? To convey the message in most effective and efficient manner. So if people understand meeting, then people generally tends to use meeting as a noun in their own language. Understood? So any foreign words that tends to be that ends with ing usually are neuter nouns. So hence thus meeting it will be. The meeting starts, thus meeting starts at so and so time. Or training, thus training. Remember, foreign words that tends to be with so that mostly ends with ing tends to be neuter otherwise. All right, so that's it. That's it. Guessing a gender using knowing the meaning by the meaning of each group of noun. Okay, in the part 1 video you saw how to guess gender using the endings. Just remembering how the spelling, the structure of each noun, you can actually guess its gender, and it's really effective. These methods are really effective. Otherwise you'll end up mugging up all the genders along with its meaning. Thank you very much.